Okay, let's just begin this particular lab, which will be an online lab since the weather today doesn't permit us to do the lab in the classroom. We'll know that you're finished this lab when I receive the email that the slide below says I should receive. When I receive that email, I'm going to evaluate it for 10 lab points. And just to the left of the screen, you can see that the two groups of ABCs will count for 6 of the 10 lab points for this lab. Now, throughout the course, the two sets of ABCs have been responsible for about 60% of the work that you've submitted. And looking towards the end of the course, the three major assignments will all be evaluated using the two sets of ABCs. So for this lab, this lab where we're going to have some instructions for you to do. It'll be 10 lab points, and we'll be looking for an abstract, a body, and a conclusion in the email that you send me. Underneath the first set is the second set, where we'll be looking for language that's appropriate to the audience. We'll be checking to make sure that there's no spelling or grammar errors, or that means that it's businesslike. And there'll be a point, of course, if it's concise, if you just use the amount of words that you need and no more. Okay, so there's the 6 ABCs, 6 out of 10. And then we have to think about, well, what's the content of this email? Well, the other purpose of this particular lab is to prepare us to write the customer service reflection assignment, which is worth 10% of your course mark. And that will require us to put together 4 headings in a report. Well, today we're just going to think about those headings enough to write one sentence for each of those headings. So the body of this email is going to consist of 4 sentences. Well, look at that. There he goes. So the body is going to consist of 4 sentences, and let's take a quick look back to the body. Okay, the first sentence that we'll need will be a customer service scenario sentence. And that's a sentence that describes something that the customer has done. The customer has purchased equipment to use in the install. The customer wants to negotiate price. The customer has used your tools. So we'll think of an appropriate customer service scenario sentence. Then we'll need a customer service skills sentence. Now, that skills sentence is just being able to write, well, in this particular scenario, if I'm going to solve it, I'm going to have to employ some customer service skills. Well, I may have to use persuasive language. I may have to acquire some additional product knowledge. I may have to think positively and speak positively. There are some skills that you'll need to deal with that customer service scenario from the first sentence. And ta-da. Well, as we go back to the email, we can see the third sentence has to do with the customer service learning sentence. Now, it turns out that we'll see in a few minutes when I get to the next slide, that the apprenticeship division has 6 ideas about learning. I think it wouldn't be too bad to take one of those ideas, or maybe 2 or more, and apply it to the scenario that we've written about already. That's we're at 3 out of 4. So let's just go back to the presentation. And after we do the customer service work, then there's going to be some results. The customer is going to notice that we've been responsible. The customer is going to be assured that we have the knowledge and skills that we need. The customer is going to appreciate the empathy that we've shown in the way we've dealt with the customer problem. So there are a set of 5 rater measurements that will change if we do some good customer service. We should write a sentence to tie what's going to change in terms of how the customer looks at our service when we complete these 3 sentences. Okay, so we've got the tough part, if you like, of the email complete. It's always good practice to start off an email addressing the person to whom you're writing and maybe just getting them into the picture. So we do that with the top sentence there. And now, so we've got a body for this email. So looking over to the left, we're going to get a point for the red B. Well, we're going to need a conclusion. Okay, so the job of the conclusion is to summarize what we've done. And so a simple sentence at the end will provide a conclusion to this email. And a conclusion is always going to be a part of the report work or the assignment work or the email work or the presentation work. We're always going to have a conclusion. It's part of the 3 ABCs. All right, so now we've got we've got just about everything we need. We've got the body, the conclusion. Oh, what about the abstract? So let's go back and see what about the abstract. Well, as we remember in an email, we remember from our cover email and resume assignment, the abstract in an email is the subject line. And that's the first thing the reader of the email sees, and it has to tell the reader what to expect to find in the email. And so we look at the email and we write a sentence that tells the reader what they will find in the email, and that gives them the option of choosing our email if their inbox is very full. So there's the 3 parts of the email. We've got the sentences, we've got and the little introduction to the person that forms the body. We've got the wrap-up conclusion at the end of the email, and we've got the abstract as the subject line. We check and see under the audience question whether is there anything in the email that wouldn't be understood by our audience. Our audience is an instructor at the college. Yeah, we're pretty good there. Okay, businesslike, spelling and grammar errors. I don't see any. So we're going to probably pick up a point there. Did I use too many words? Was I concise? No, I don't think we used too many words. So now I'm ready to send this email and get my points. Of course, in this example, we didn't actually write the 4 sentences. That's, you'll do that. And in order to help you with that, we're going to show where those 4 sentences and where this procedure is going to help you in the future. All right. So the customer service reflection report. This is the first 6 parts of the rubric, the first 6 rows of the rubric. This shows that abstract, body, conclusion, audience, business-like, concise are going to be 60% of this assignment, as they are of every assignment in the course. So these particular rules will work for just about anything. We need to tell the reader what's in the report, in the abstract, and we need to summarize the report in the conclusion. The audience, business-like, concise are pretty much the same wherever you look. The body is going to change, of course. If it's a presentation, or if it's a cover email, or if it's a resume, or if it's a report, the body is going to change. In this case, the body has got 4 sections that match up with the 4 sentences we've written, and it may have graphics and tables. Well, let's just see as we move on what the graphics and tables may be built on. Okay, so we need sentences and we need headings for our report. There are the little bit more information about some typical customer service scenarios, some service skills that matter, some of the workplace mentorship ideas in the lower left-hand corner down there. And let's take a look at the rater results down here. And these are how a company might be measured by its customers. It would look at the people who work, their service techs, and try to measure their reliability, their assurance, how they appear, how they respond to the customers, and so on. So we need to, we're putting together the customer service reflection, challenge ourselves to look at those particular slides and come up with some discussion on the scenario, the skills, the service learning, and the results for the remaining 4 points for that reflection report. Well, I am pleased that we're able to do this particular 10-point lab exercise online, and I'm sure I can expect some very good emails. Well, thanks very much. Okay, going to click this one, and we're going to turn off this one.